Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pro Wrestling World Talks with Dan and Mac.
It seems to be that we have reached the end of summer as Labor Day has passed, and as we are recording tonight's episode, the beginning of the NFL regular season. And we're also dealing with flashbacks from what we had to deal with on Sunday. Ugh. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, ladies and gentlemen around the world. I am your host, Daniel Burke of PWW Talks, and I am joined, as ever, by my best friend of over 20 years and co-host of this program, Mac. Mac, thanks again for coming on. How are you this fine evening?
Glad football is back.
Yes.
I'm glad Melissa Stark is on the TV right now.
Yes. Yeah. It's of course the Red Sox got some hard news this week as Roman Anthony, the new tribal chief of the Boston Red Sox, is now out for the rest of the regular season and probably the ALDS if they even make it. So that's that news came down this week, which may deflate their chances of making the playoffs. That's because always a possibility. They might not be booked, considering the fact that Texas is starting to make their move. The Yankees seem to have finally figured some stuff out after a really lousy July and August after the All-Star break, but they've seemed to kind of turn things around. But
I'm just going to tell you now, if they don't make it, I'm blaming us, actually.
We're blaming
ourselves, yeah, because we called them out last week and how good they were and how they didn't have a summer slump, and it's just like, nope, 9-1 2025, they hit the slump then instead.
We're just going to shit the bed in September. It's fine.
Yep.
It's like, I mean, can I really say, though, that it's a bad thing considering the fact of that this coming into the season and after that Devers trade, everybody was just like, But I think you look at this young talent on this team and you can say to yourself, all right, there's some hope at the end of the tunnel. And you know what? There's also some hope at the end of the tunnel for the New England Patriots. Mike Vrabel, his inaugural season as head coach, which thank Christ they were one and done with Gerard Mayo. Thank God that they were like, you know what? We're going to get Vrabel. It's like, thank you. Exactly what you should have done a year ago. But you didn't. And, but also, I've learned in business, not only in media, sports, you never sometimes want to be the guy after the guy. You want to be the guy after the guy. Kind of like when Howard Stern left terrestrial radio and they came up with the idea of David Lee Roth.
Oh, that's Daniel McDanielson.
They came up with David Lee Roth as the replacement, and he lasted about 3 months.
I think it was 3 to 6, something like that.
Yeah, and he was out. He was out by April, and that was when they decided to say, well, there's no one else we can get, even though we fired these guys 4 years earlier. We're going to go get Opie and Anthony. That's the way this industry. Oh, boy, that might be a concussion, the way he's just laying there. It's funny how things like that just happen. Which sometimes in media, you also can sit here a couple weeks ago and finally say, you know what? I'm not going to bash AEW that much.
Smoke.
And then you get the news of today, and you get the news earlier this week of how they have been faring in their television ratings before the max numbers, of course. However, they hit their lowest rating on Collision last Saturday, which I believe did about 198,000 viewers, which, yes, it was a long weekend. A lot of people were probably trying to get their last bit of summer vacation in. so to speak, before the kids really go back to school and ramp things up. But they did 198,000 for Collision. Okay. It's an anomaly, maybe.
Wow. Yeah, I just looked on Ringside because I hadn't seen that. I did see the under 5K for last night, but I did not see the under 2K for Collision.
Yes. And now they were under 500,000 last night. Their lowest rated regular time slot episode ever. Not preemption, not moves, not nothing. Just regular 8 to 10, the way that they have been since October of 2019. And they're under 500K.
Well, here's the thing that I will say, and this is the same vein of looking at Collision, and actually probably more so at Collision anyways, but these numbers don't include the max numbers. So we do have to take the numbers a little bit with a grain of salt, I feel like, with that in mind, but still not great.
Yeah, I understand that you have to be to take those numbers in. Streaming numbers are kind of hard to calculate nowadays. It's not.
Well, I mean, actually, for us, yeah, but not for some of these other people.
Some of these other people, they sometimes are able to do and figure it out. However, what happened is really, really worrying, in my opinion, for the company, considering the fact that they are now really understaffed as far as their talent is concerned. Will Ospreay out for a year.
True.
Swerve Strickland out for maybe 6 months, maybe longer. Then you have other talent that their shelf life isn't what it was 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, a year ago. MJF ain't pulling the same business that he was. Jon Moxley ain't pulling the same business that he was. Apparently, Kenny Omega is coming into this thing banged up. He's dealing with some major injuries as well. So you're going to have him on the shelf. And he's not exactly been a consistent, let's just say, I feel like he has to take time off like every 2 to 3 months. It's like, I got to take 2 months off. It's like, and it's got to be that Japan style that had to have done a number on him and his body. There is a tax to going 11 every time. Go ask Kurt Angle. Go ask Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay is in his early 30s and now has to have himself cut open with vertebrae issues, the same kind of injuries that an Austin had, same kind of injuries that Kurt Angle had. That could have lasting effects in his way of life, not just his in-ring career, which very well could end prematurely. If not, he might not come back at all, because if we've learned from recent events with Hulk Hogan and many others, Ozzy Osbourne too, once you have the neck surgery done, there's not 100% certainty that that's going to go correctly. Not saying that Ospreay is going to be in a situation that those two gentlemen were, which ended up leading to a bad quality of life, which ended up leading them to premature death.
Well, I mean, not with Austin, but yeah, the other
not
two.
with Austin, but with
Hogan
Austin
and Ozzy.
Austin didn't have a botched. Austin didn't really have a botched surgery.
No, I wouldn't say he did either.
Like, he just, it was considered successful, but you don't want to have vertebrae work done in your early 30s.
No, I would definitely agree with that. I mean, listen, we're in our 40s. I wouldn't want it to be done then either. So
hell no.
I don't care your age. Like, things happen, and that is, as you said, one of those areas that, A lot of things can go wrong in that avenue.
We talked about it recently on what they are going to do with their women's division, considering the fact that it is very top heavy. Between Toni Storm and Mercedes Moné, they've beaten everybody that is considered top talent. And I know, we gave a reset to Dorina Purrazzo. You're putting her on Ring of Honor.
Yeah, that's the problem. And a lot of the talent they've shifted to Ring of Honor, like Julia Hart, like Sky Blue. Athena's obviously the women's champion there, but you either need to bring them back or float them around, kind of like WWE does with NXT. That's an idea too, but you can't then put Mercedes and Toni Storm over them too. Like it's just not going to work. They need to freshen up the talent a little bit. And by the way, the Dallas Cowboys have struck first in the NFL season.
I saw that, which is surprising.
That is just, I feel dirty now. I'm going to go take a shower. I'm going to go take a shower.
Yeah, I mean, but if we learned anything from the North Carolina game, that first drive doesn't really mean shit.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Good old Bill.
Maybe they should cry that river of salty tears, you know?
I mean, look, I think as time has gone on, we knew who the real talent was in that relationship.
I knew the first year. First year.
As time has gone on, as some decisions that were made in recent years in drafting and things of that nature, it kind of made sense when we were just watching the greatest quarterback of all time hoist another trophy in Tampa. Like, yeah. Great job, Bob. You picked the right one. Yeah. I mean, the thing, we got to look at it too and just say, Bill was right to think that Brady, because it could have happened at any time. You saw it with guys like Peyton Manning. You saw it guys like where 1 week they looked fantastic, and then the next week it was like, oh my God, they should retire tomorrow.
So listen, let's dissect that for just a quick second, right? So Tom goes to Tampa Bay. Bruce Arians is his coach, but he has a lot of receiving core that he did not have in New England.
Mike Evans, they brought in Antonio Brown.
Yeah,
they brought Gronk in.
I think was Gronk there that first year? I forget.
Yes, he was. He came out of retirement for it.
I couldn't remember if he came the second year and didn't win. I just didn't remember for whatever reason. But okay, all those guys like you just mentioned, Gronk included. Those are guys minus Gronk that he never really had in New England. Yes, he played with Antonio Brown, but it did not last for various reasons, I'm sure. At least that some we know of. Some
I forgot about Chris Goodwin too. He was on that team.
Chris Goodwin was there too. Yep.
Yeah.
But he wins his first year. Listen,
and the defense was stacked.
The defense was stacked too, but I could look at Bruce Arians and be like, yeah, that's not all you. And that got proven pretty quick, I felt like too. Just saying. Hold on.
But
hold on. I'll let you say whatever you want, but we'll just get this part about Belichick. With Belichick, he had Cam Newton. Granted, he got an old, injured Cam Newton, but still, he didn't do anything with the receiving core that they had. The defense was already suffering at that point, I feel like. And then he had he had Mac Jones after that, who... Mac Jones is a decent quarterback, don't get me wrong, but he does not do well under pressure, and same as Brady, he had a stacked roster in college that he was able to gunsling with because he could trust that roster. He didn't have that in New England. And again, I feel like Bill still didn't really develop him either.
Let me give a closing cap on this. All you need to know about Bill Belichick that last draft when Tom Brady was here. Bill Belichick chose N'Keal Harry over DK Metcalf.
Listen, I said it for years that he should not be in the draft room.
Metcalf.
He should not have been in the draft room. And I get it from the perspective of, oh, we won with less. Yeah, you did, but the less was still better than some of the choices you made to draft. So
don't forget also the fact that they almost got Lamar Jackson in the draft too, but they didn't because they had Brady.
I mean, I feel like it would have been hard to draft a quarterback with Brady, but
well, you tried with Garoppolo and that worked out great. I mean, because all that did was piss him off. But at the same time, it drove him to win another 3 Super Bowls.
Yeah, so that's the thing. And then
that's a good motivator.
Yeah, and then they toss Garoppolo, and then goes to San Fran and actually wins games. But that's besides the point.
It's not win the big one though.
That's very true. But I don't blame just him on that, except for that one playoff game where I totally blamed him for that. 3 fucking interceptions. But yeah, listen, like I said, to cap on that, I think we can do the argument once he left.
Can't wait to yell at my TV for the next 20 weeks.
Can we just have a good opening night?
Constantly screaming at my TV.
I don't want to think about this.
Fucking goddamn team! Jesus Christ!
I don't want to think about this right now.
I know, but I'm sorry, but that's how we roll. That's how it's done. God, that was the thing. I had to take a couple of years off because it was like, not as a fan, but more or less just like all in. Because it's like for 20 years, it was just like, I need a goddamn break.
Yeah, I mean, they play to like mid-February, basically, if you think about it. And it's I get it. It's not some of these other sports that I complain about, like baseball and hockey and, basketball, where it's like 80, 100 something games. It's only 17 weeks, but if you count the preseason, it's another 3 to 4, depending on the year you watched. And then playoffs are 3 weeks, and then you got to skip a week, maybe have something going on, and then you got the Super Bowl. And it doesn't feel as exhausting as it is, but when you have a full day of games that you could watch too on a Sunday, like 3 games a pop, then you got Monday if you're not watching wrestling. You got Thursdays now.
Yep. And then
in the winter, you got
Friday or Saturday game eventually.
Well, in the winter, they do the Saturday games once college is done. But
Thursday through Monday, I'll take that. I mean, that's really good from that perspective of and
it depends on the matchups too, though. For me,
yeah, it does. It does so much.
Like I'm not watching the Jets and the Jaguars, which. The only reason I'm thinking Jaguars is because who's on the screen right now. But that's besides the point. It's tough. It does get to be long. But I mean, if just using that as the example, if that's the Monday, Thursday, maybe Saturday night game, I'm not watching that. I'm not taking the time out of my schedule to watch the Jets and the Jaguars. I'm sorry, I'm just not.
We will be talking also later about AEW because of the counter programming angle, because we do need to talk about the abomination, because I wish the NFL season started this past Sunday instead of this coming Sunday, because then we would have had an excuse to watch something else other than the abomination in Paris. It's funny that
should have been the name of the pay-per-view.
It should have been, because I feel like that was the absolute description of the show. And going into the main event, it wasn't a bad show. Even though it
was serviceable.
It was serviceable. I wasn't saying it was going to be bad.
No, I understand what you're saying, but I don't want to call it good. It was
serviceable. Either. We talked about how it was Sunday Raw. Or Raw in Paris. That's pretty much what it felt like. Because of the fact that the ending to the main event, which was completely unexpected, but also at the same time expected, you had an injury angle. You had one of the worst one of the worst matches on television in years, if not, in the last decade or so. Then you had a
worst
tag team
women's
breakup.
Match. I don't want to say it's the worst match, but it's definitely the worst women's match.
Yeah, I would say that's
for a company that's putting out bangers of women's matches the last couple of years. I feel it's worthy of saying that. Calling it the worst match, it's up there, but I don't think it's a contender.
That's fair, but it's still like
it wasn't good. Like
it was not good.
It was not good.
It was not good. And the fact that Becky Lynch was involved in that, and Becky Lynch was involved at the end of the night, it's like, wow, you just shit twice. That literally just you shit the bed twice in one night. It's like, what kind of bad food did you have to shit the bed twice in one night? The fact is that this was supposed to be the very last show. Well, actually, no, not supposed to be. It is the very last PLE on Peacock. And did it leave the worst goddamn shit smell that you could possibly leave a streaming service? Because of the fact that it really was just straight up dog shit. Like, just straight up. That ending is one of the worst I've ever seen.
It bothered me, Dan. It really did. Because I remember looking at a few of these matches, and we'll talk about them in a few minutes here, but like, you know, the tag team match that got added basically the day of, because I don't remember them saying this on SmackDown at all.
No.
And if they did, I clearly missed it. But the thing that I was mad about is like you couldn't figure out Stephanie Vicaire and what seems now like to be Io Sky. You couldn't add this instead of
touchdown Philadelphia.
Yes, touchdown. You couldn't add them instead of what we got out of it instead. Which, again, we'll talk about. And to go from that, what we got, to the next match, which you kind of just alluded to, Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella, what the hell? And I feel like Rusev and Sheamus, Cena and Logan Paul, they brought it back. They did. They made it serviceable, which I hate to say that about John Cena, but he did. And then the stinker at the end of the night just took the air completely out of the room.
It was like everything that they brought us back, and we're thinking of going to that main event. It's like, yeah, and then the rumor was earlier in the day that they had something big up their sleeve for the main event. So of course that automatically gets my mind going of they're going to do a title change. All right, yes, they're going to finally put an end to this. Or a return.
Which even though should have been it.
It's leading to one. But
it should have been there.
More on that in a moment.
Yep.
This, however, was just you did it 6 years ago and it didn't work then. What makes you think it's going to work now? And I understand the implication of it, but the timing of it, to me, is extremely questionable. And also,
so hold on. Of which? Of the potential return it's leading to?
The potential return that we'll get into later.
I think it's...
I understand
think the timing
why.
Hold on. I think the time is convenient.
Of course it is.
Because of Nikki Bella.
There's also other reasons, too.
I obviously understand that.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. But I find the timing of it because of the fact that she's still there, probably on her own little retirement run for alimony. I think it's very convenient that she's coming back now, if she is indeed coming back, which all signs seem to be pointing.
All signs are pointing to head, and even the fact that the WWE shop kind of spoiled it.
I did read that. Yeah.
The quickly deleted tweets. Of course, we'll get to that when we get to the main event, but it's we went into the show with the lowest expectations. And somehow the main event even got lower than that.
Well, I was going to say we went up with low expectations and we weren't disappointed.
Yes, exactly. It's like we were even more disappointed than we thought we were, because it's like, you got to be kidding me here. But it was like that pretty much the whole show, except for everything that Mac talked about with Logan Paul and John Cena, which John Cena out of the title picture, I really don't mind this run. If this is how it's going to be now for the next few months, where he's kind of just wrestling dream matches, guys that, except the big imposing, again, we'll get to that later, which seems to be which is also being rumored to be built more tomorrow in Chicago. We'll get to that in a moment.
I read that too. Yep.
But I'm enjoying this version of John Cena, where he's going up against these, the younger generation. And I was expecting, and even Stephanie at several points came in asking about that match, and I was just like, God, Philly is just ready to kill the Cowboys. This is like the second time already that there's been a fight. I love it. They're just like, I don't give a shit. Any team that's just like ready to physically fight the Cowboys, I just find hilarious. Because it's like, you mean to tell me that this team, the Cowboys against the Eagles, really? For one thing, they're from Philly, all right? Even if you're a visitor in Philly, you just somehow but if you play for one of their teams, somehow you just inherit the spirit of the majority of the people in Philly, which are raving lunatics, like the Philly captain. And I love him, but that's fine. But I don't know if I've actually tried to pitch him on getting him onto this program. I don't know if you know of the Philly captain.
I don't know.
He's the YouTube guy, and he goes around Philly and he just pretty much vlogs. He goes on a scooter. He'll be like, "We're going for a scoot." Big, of course, Phillies fan, big Eagles fan,
of course,
and also a huge wrestling fan as well. So we have a lot. I am trying to get him on this program to talk about old school ECW days and things of that nature. To kind of break up the monotony of having to review PLEs, especially too, if PLEs are going to be like this one, where I'm just going to be like, let's just skip the fucking thing. Why are we dealing with this again? We'll just put something good on. But now they're going over to the worldwide leader of sports. So you wonder if the quality is going to get better, because the way Lala Peacock, my God, if this is the last image you're leaving with them, those fans with, they're never going to have you back. Never.
Kind of makes me curious too what they're going to do with Cody going to Street Fighter for probably a few months at least.
I've heard he's going to try to split it down the middle.
Good luck, dude.
Good luck, especially too with his just another baby.
Yeah, congratulations, by the way.
Congratulations to Cody and Brandy on
he
baby
kept
number
that pretty
2.
secret. I'll give him credit.
That was pretty cool. That was under the radar quite a bit. That was considerably under the radar. I guess that was his Christmas present, because you do the math. No. That might have been his work. His Christmas or Thanksgiving. Honey, War Games. All right.
Hey, Rock, go fuck yourself.
Oh, speaking of, we'll have to mention The Rock later. Mr. Going for an Oscar, Dwayne Johnson. Good Lord. He's going the Batista route, because he's just like, that don't work for me, brother. It's just.
I think he was starting to get typecast probably too.
Well, I know he's got a Scorsese project in the works.
That's true. I forgot about that.
So I'm wondering if Scorsese was just like, look, I'm not, this is a Michael Bay film. And that's pretty much exactly the verbiage.
Smoke.
I could see Martin Scorsese just saying, this is not Michael Bay. Like, Christ's sake, I got made good for, like, and if Martin Scorsese tells you that you need to drop the weight, you better drop the fucking weight. Like, this is the same guy who convinced De Niro to put on like 60 to 100 pounds for Raging Bull. So, and talk about like one of those completely dichotomies of a film where I don't think any actor will do this again because number one, it's not healthy. But number two, it's because of the fact that they could just CGI it now. But
that is true, yeah.
Robert De Niro in Raging Bull played a boxer, Jake LaMotta, and he actually played him in Fighting Shape. Then he played Jake LaMotta later on in his career when he was like a cheap kind of Vegas lounge singer, like entertainer type deal, when he was also like 100 pounds heavier than he was when he was in his boxing weight. So it's like, and he actually put the weight on. And this is the early 80s. Never be done again. Never be done again. But if Martin Scorsese is able to convince Robert De Niro of doing that for the project and winning an Academy Award, if Martin Scorsese went to The Rock and said, I need you to drop this weight for this part, of course, The Rock is going to listen to him because The Rock is not going to be able to out-ego and outmaneuver one of the greatest directors in the history of cinema. It's not even close. If you're putting together a Mount Rushmore of filmmakers, Martin Scorsese is either at the front or he's in second or third. But he's up there. And you consider the work that he's been able to do consistently since the 1970s. Consistently put out banger after a couple of misses here and there. It's like him and Tarantino. Their quality of work has just been like always steady. Of course, you had the great ones like Oliver Stone and Francis Ford Coppola that, yeah, occasionally they know how to put a masterpiece out there, but at the same time, you know, and The Rock has gone that way of, I have to listen to the master here on this. Which is also the reason why he may have missed WrestleMania this year, which is also the reason that a lot of us, if he wins an Academy Award or gets a nomination for Smashing Machine, there's a lot of us that might have to sit here and eat crow because the fact of the matter is if Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, so to speak, wins the Academy Award, that is great for the wrestling business. Yeah. It just is. And it doesn't matter if he fucked up the finish of or the setup for WrestleMania and all this stuff, because he was called in on a favor. He told them that he was only going to be able to do that one appearance, and they brought him in anyways. And that was it. He didn't write what came after that. He didn't sit there and try to, so to speak, write guidelines and bullet points. He didn't do any of that. That was up to the creative team. All he did was try to set things in motion. And he shouldn't be blamed for that. Especially now, if he is representing an entire industry in an extremely legitimate position in Hollywood. This is not The Rock of 5 or 10 years ago where he's trying to strong arm studios. You know, he tried the DC takeover and it failed miserably. So he kind of had to take a step back a little bit. And I expect him to be more in his independent, critically acclaimed period of his career. He did the kid movies. Now he's in the action movies. He did the action movie stuff. Now he's in his next arc. His arc of, I'm going to be trying to reinvent myself again in Hollywood where I'm a legitimate, like, dramatic actor. Maybe he wanted to take the same steps that Dave Bautista did. I still feel Batista's a better actor. but The Rock might beat him to the finish line for a major Academy Award nomination or award win. It very well could happen. And at that time, a lot of us are going to have to sit here and be like, ah. And again, it's another reason that I'm talking about this, because I am trying to delay as much as possible about talking about the show that we watched on Sunday.
Well, I didn't say anything.
Oh, it's so bad.
But I didn't say anything. It's just yeah, I don't know. But I don't think we can delay it much longer. The first match, Clash in Paris. The Tribal Chief.
About Matt Riddle and Ronda Rousey. All right, we'll talk about the show. Fuck it.
No, thank you. I don't want to talk about that either. The Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, coming out with 2 Ulafalas against Bronson Reed, who came out with the Shulafala and Paul Heyman. Ironically enough, I don't know how many people caught this. I had to point it out to Dan.
It was very funny. That was the highlight of the match.
Yeah, it really was. When Bronson Reed took the Shulafala and walked around the ring with it for, I don't remember how long, and handed it back to Paul Heyman outside of the ring, Paul Heyman had to go to a side official or whatever, camera person, whoever the hell was there, to get the shoes untangled.
Mm-hmm.
And he spent 5 minutes trying to do it himself, and it was painful to watch by the end.
Yes, it was.
That was more interesting than the action in the ring, I felt like, at certain points. And it was very obvious to both Dan and I that the Shulafala was clearly going to be part of the finish, and that's why he needed to get the shoes untangled. And sure enough,
yes,
they were.
Yeah, they were. Until the inevitable Braun Breaker run.
Well, hold on. Before that, Roman put Paul at the guillotine too, which I thought was hilarious.
He did the guillotine, which trying to get his kind of revenge for the night after WrestleMania, or the night of WrestleMania turn, and then of course the attack that led to him taking his sabbatical, which led him coming back now, and he has the match at SummerSlam and he has the match here, and promptly chokes out Paul Heyman, goes out, taunts the crowd, and
what is it? Yeah, he signed his shoes and he tossed them in the crowd.
Yes, he's signing his shoes and then he's tossing them out, and then Braun Breaker hits him with a spear through a table. And we both thought that Braun Breaker had screwed himself up because of the way that he had gotten up.
I think that knee is still tender from when he banged it on the carriage, honestly.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure
that might be what it is.
That's probably also why they've kind of limited him in ring a little bit, which we've talked about it here. We've discussed it at length, how I feel that they have done a great disservice to Braun Breaker in this whole angle. And again, that this whole thing kind of proved it, because it pretty much just became this lengthy beatdown. They tsunamied Roman, I think, 3 or 4 times at the end of the match, sending Roman now out on a stretcher so he can go and film. He can go out now and film Street Fighter, where Cody Rhodes is going to be playing double duty, be the defending champion, touchdown fucking Cowboys. And we now have to deal with Roman Reigns coming in for a couple of shots, and now he's leaving for quite a bit of time. Probably won't reemerge until either the end of the year or the beginning of 2026. Must be nice.
I think he'll be back for like War Games, truthfully.
Yeah, so I'm expecting for the end of the year, so we're talking November or December. Depending on who, I'm expecting though the Vision will probably be involved at War Games this year, which who knows if that's going to implicate what happens at WrestleMania. If that's going to be the first breaking up of the. I don't know what to fucking do with this thing, because I hate every second of this. I hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it. And we go with, of course, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed now getting tossed from the arena by Adam Pearce and saying that if you guys either come back, you will be indefinitely suspended without pay. And Paul Heyman was at the hospital. I wonder if he was in the same room as Roman Reigns, because he ended up in the hospital from all the tsunami attacks and the injury angle that they went with that. So now the champion, the man that is in this faction, Seth Rollins, who's built this faction around him to protect him and to protect his championship reign, now has no associates that can help him out. Or does he? More on that later. So now...
Yeah. Yep. Now we have a match added. I'll say it for you, because clearly you're shook. Now the match that we talked about earlier was added, because again, we were supposed to get Stephanie Vicaire versus Naomi. Naomi, we found out, is pregnant. The title was vacated. For whatever reason, they need more time, and it's apparently going to be at WrestlePalooza, where it will be Io Sky against Stephanie Vicaire for the vacated Women's World Championship. So instead of that, we got the WWE Tag Team match for the titles, the Wyatt Six defending against the Street Profits.
Street Profits came out to Borderlands entrance as they were doing a crossover with Borderlands, which ended up being very weird. I believe 2K, Take-Two Interactive, is the developer for Borderlands.
That might be why, yeah.
That, of course, a little cross promotion there, because 2K is also the producer of the WWE 2K game as well. So, little bit of I'll scratch my back if you scratch yours type deal.
Yep.
Which, okay, but the big story and the big angle that I got from this match, even though it was better than expected, is they are doing it. They are finally teasing or now building towards the inevitable breakup between Montez Ford and Apollo
Angelo Dawkins and Montez
Angelo
Ford.
Dawkins and Montez Ford. And they are now at that they're now at the breaking point, it looks like, where they are teasing the end of their they've been together for a long time. I still remember they were on TV back in might have been, I think, before COVID with the Cubs.
I think it was 2019.
Yeah, 2019 that they were on the main roster, and they've had a very successful run, but people, including myself included, have felt that Montez Ford is a star.
Yeah, because he is.
He is. He's ready for the spot. And yeah, I feel like that this is it. Yeah. This is his time to shine. And maybe Angelo, excuse me. I don't know why I keep thinking D'Angelo for some fucking reason. But hopefully Angelo could come out of this too with a successful career as that. I don't expect him to be the Marty Jannetty. You never want to be that guy. You never want to be Marty Jannetty. He might end up where Edge and Christian, where both of them are, one's a megastar and then the other guy's a pretty good, really good star as well, but not to the level of Marty Jannetty. Booran. Damn. It's like it's all encompassing. It's just like every time I hear Marty Jannetty or say Marty Jannetty, it's like, because
it's funny you said it though, because I literally just saw something he put in a group chat, and I'm just like, oh man, I don't want to talk about this with you right now.
Oh, is he talking about Marty Jannetty again?
No, he's talking about Ronda Rousey.
Oh, of course. Of course. You know, it's funny because I try to. Never mind. I don't want to get into that because it's just stupid.
What, Ronda Rousey?
Yeah. It's just like,
if we want to talk about it, let's do it after.
We'll do it later because we are delaying the inevitable on this.
We really are. It's like any chance we get.
Because it's so bad.
It really is. It really is. Like, and ironically, we get to one of the two shits now.
That's the thing. Like, because I know what's coming.
Yep.
I know what's coming. And this is the one match I don't want to discuss this. I don't want to talk about it.
I want to say my joke about the match, but we'll get
Go right ahead, sir. You have your opportunity.
I will. So for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, Becky Lynch defends and retains against Nikki Bella in 13 minutes and 7 seconds. This match was 13 minutes and 4 seconds too long. There's a point in the match, which I'm sure everybody on the internet has seen and is still funny to me, where Nikki Bella goes up, I believe, on the second, maybe even the third rope, and attempts a kick down to Becky Lynch, who is
not there.
Not even remotely close.
At all.
I had to really think about this joke because of course, I'm just sitting there laughing in the moment. But what everybody doesn't know is she was trying to kick John Cena. We just couldn't see him. Like, there's history there. She's trying to kick him. Let's be real.
I wonder if she saw Cena's wife and then just immediately, just like her whole body, just like she went and had like an automatic experience.
I mean, she might have, because the kick wouldn't have looked good either way. So
no, it wouldn't have. It wouldn't have at all.
I mean, listen, she's only been in what, like 2 or 3 matches since she's come back.
Yeah,
I think one a singles match and a tag team match. It's whatever, man. Like, I again, like, for what she's able to do now, I feel like she's better. But as I said in the preview of this show last week, she's not on Becky Lynch's level.
Well, I also think that I have to also put this on Becky Lynch a little bit, because
I don't disagree.
There were some moments, especially with that table spot, that she was, there's.
Oh yeah, that looked bad. I remember later you're like, yep, the husband can do it better.
That was in my opinion, that was.
She's always taken that awful, though, honestly.
No, it was a taking the piss out of the moment type of match, where it's like that is something that, like, it's HBK level Hulk Hogan shit.
No, I've never seen her take a table good. Never.
No, but that was
gratuitous.
That was just gratuitous, and that was.
But is that her fault or Nikki's fault for continuing to do it, though? That's why I don't necessarily blame just Becky in that moment.
It was
the
way that Becky was selling that I had a problem with.
Right,
and also her to not, because Becky, I'm sure, is leading in that.
Oh yeah,
like Becky's the one calling the spots, and I hate even getting too inside baseball too, but it's just, I can't completely blame this on Nikki. I can't, because
I can't either. Like,
it's because I look at Becky and I'm just like, but also no, because you can also put that on Becky, because like, if you knew that spot was coming, did you do that intentionally?
But did she, though, is the thing.
That's the question. Like, I don't know. Like, that's one of those things. You really can't ad lib in wrestling. You really can't, because if you ad lib, you're gonna look like a fool. And sorry, Nikki, you kind of look like a fool in that spot. I mean, look, there's a lot of things with Nikki Bella that I've come around on.
Yeah,
but it's not. But that has nothing to do with the fact that I've always thought that she hasn't been the absolute, like, she's not a great worker. I've never felt like that. I've never felt that she's just been like this outstanding performer in the ring. Is she great? No. Is she good? I'd say moderately good. Like, have I seen worse? Yeah.
She's
better? Yeah.
She's a more over, lesser version of Chelsea Green.
That's fair.
I'm not going to sit here and say Chelsea's bad, but
I don't think
she's great.
More. I think Chelsea's more over.
I don't think so. I think a lot of people look at Nikki Bella with the nostalgia factor.
Here's the thing, though. There's that, but also too with Chelsea, she also has a lot of the marks.
Where I don't disagree with that.
Nikki has never really had the marks because the marks don't like her
because the marks think she's a model. Is the problem.
Yeah, exactly. And to with the Cena connection. Because immediately it was just like, well, fuck her because of the whole Cena thing.
Yeah, and not just, but that's not how they got in,
No.
I get it.
Because the guy in charge was
banging their
fucking
mom.
Weirdo. Yeah. Wonder how that's going.
Probably not well anymore. Maybe she has an NDA too. Who knows?
Wonder how that's going.
Touchdown Eagles.
But it's that I'm a little bit behind. Like I'm watching this and I'm just like expecting it. I'm like, all right, let's do it.
Jalen Hurts just ran in for like 18 yards.
Man,
he barely made it though. He barely made it. I think they're gonna probably review this. Nope, he made it. Never mind.
No, he made it.
I guess the angle from the live cam was making it seem like he might have been a little bit closer than it actually was.
But this
match sucked. Let's be real.
Oh, it was terrible. It was one of the worst matches in recent memory. If I had to give a Dud of the Year award, this would probably be it. I mean,
it sucks because they built it up too. They built it up.
They really did.
Decently.
They did some good promo work. Like there was some memorable stuff from it. So this thing did have a chance to hey, you know what? This is a good program. This could lead to something. Hopefully this is one and done, which I think it is, considering the fact that Becky has already moved on to other things. But now yeah, this is kind of why this is the big reason why we've been trying to talk about everything else. Because this match in particular, it's just like, I don't want to watch this. This is like a Raw match from like 2017, 2018, 2019 even.
So again, like the joke was a little bit in certain chats and everything, and I think I made it to you as well. It's like it was afternoon Raw. It was Sunday afternoon Raw.
Yeah, it really was.
And
it really was.
Not only from how it opened, even though it was a match between Roman and Bronson Reed, you still had the injury angle that you played out. You had, I think, at least before this match, maybe 2 backstage segments, which they really don't do at PLEs that often anymore.
No.
There's rarely ever backstage segments at a PLE. This one had, I want to say, like 2 or 3 total.
It did.
And this could have been on Netflix. This could have been on SmackDown on USA. This could have been on literally anything. And I would have preferred it there than at a PLE where, again, you don't have a lot of premier talent booked. There's no Cody. There's no Randy. There's, a couple guys, but where are the rest of the women matches? There's no Rhea.
No Charlotte, no Alexa.
Charlotte or Alexa,
no Stephanie Vercure, no Bianca, no Jade Cargill.
Yeah,
no Tiffany Stratton.
It was a lot to be desired. It really was. Like I don't know how to say it because it's just the truth, right? Like had they booked more talent, okay. Had they made attempts at least to do so, okay. But instead it felt like they were pulling talent, not adding it. And that just made it suck even more. And then again, to get replaced by some of those matches with this. It's like, come on.
Yeah. There was a lot of other talent that could have made this card instead of what we were dealing with this match. This match was, it really was difficult and something that I'm like, I can't stand this whole thing. And it's like, this may have not been the worst of Becky considering what we got later on in the night. But this is pretty goddamn bad.
This is awful.
This is pretty goddamn bad. This is one of the worst matches, women's matches in company in a long time, probably within the last 5 to 10 years. And
easily the last 5 for sure.
No, without question, especially considering the talent. Like, look, again, I'm not going to crap on Becky Lynch's track record because she's got a tremendous track record. Either this is a really bad night for her, or some other things are going on. I don't know. But maybe it was her way of being like, I got to look strong considering I'm going to be in the main event later. Yeah, it's possible. I don't know. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's all we can really say about that match. So the next match was Rusev and Sheamus in the good old-fashioned Donnybrook match.
I did not hate this.
I actually loved it.
I thought it was great. I thought the visual of
you mean Cracker Barrel's new logo that I actually just added in here because I thought it was hilarious that I added that.
That was great. That was hilarious. But I did love them too of just whiskey barrels. It's like they're in fucking goddamn France. It's wine, you piece of shit.
That was hilarious.
Like I'm just correcting Michael Cole, which is something that like I figured Wade Barrett would have done.
I would have figured so too.
It's wine, Battis, Michael. It's wine.
It's wine, Michael.
It's wine, Michael. Like that's what I was fully expecting of that. Like almost kind of every time I listen to him on the call now, though, I'm like, fuck Pat McAfee. Like every time I hear Wade Barrett,
I love Wade Barrett.
Wade Barrett is this. He is perfect for this. Like he is exactly the kind of color commentator that I want to hear. I always thought he was a gifted talker. In-ring worker,
he was okay.
Gifted talker though. Like, yeah, he was okay. Yeah, that wasteland move that he did have though when he first came in. Oh my god, that was terrible.
Yeah, that was
stupid. I'm just gonna put you on my shoulders and I'm gonna just slam you down. That's it.
I don't know, man. Yeah. I can't say shit when Cena's a fucking fireman carry. So
it's not a Death Valley Driver.
No, it's not.
It's not. Like I love people and they're just like it's Death. I'm like, don't ever tell me that again.
Yeah, don't insult the Death Valley Driver.
Leave the room.
Yep.
Well, I'm just saying.
Leave. Yeah. But no, Sheamus and Rusev. I thought it was a lot of fun. Honestly,
it was a lot of fun. It was a nice palate cleanser after the last match.
Absolutely was.
It got the fans right back into it too. And Rusev, the right guy won, which was important.
Oh yeah, they absolutely 100% should have put Rusev over in this, and they did. I was scared for a minute that it was going to be Sheamus.
Like, no, but they did the right thing here because I really think that I hope that they see the value of Rusev that we do.
Like, well, I think they do if they put him over. Honestly,
I do too. I think, hopefully. Especially too, being on a show like this, which some could argue that this was kind of like a B show, even though when you have CM Punk and Seth Rollins involved and Becky Lynch, I really don't think that you consider it a B show. Oh, Roman's also the opener. So yeah, I guess you could say it really wasn't a B show, even though there were certain matches on this card that kind of felt like it was a B show. But the right guy won here. This was a definite palate cleanser from what we had the match earlier. I either feel that this was the match of the night or the next match was the match of the night, which I can't believe I'm saying that about John Cena, but I'm just speaking the truth here, which is something I try to do on this program. I try not to bullshit you, even though I'm a really good bullshitter. When I say I'm a bullshitter, I mean I could literally just bullshit for as long as I can. That's why you all know that I'm a bullshitter. I don't make things up. I just go on and talk and talk and talk and just whine and complain, as some people will say, is whining and complaining. I consider it venting and being my old man shaking fisted cloud moment. My Abe Simpson era, I guess you could say, as far as the podcast is concerned. And the fact that this match was able to be like, hey, I know that last match sucked, but your boys Sheamus and Rusev are going to bring you back. And it's like, yes, thank you. And then immediately I was like, thank you on this beautiful Rusev Day again for your victory.
I literally looked at this match, especially coming out of Becky and Nikki, thinking like, okay, the show has a chance still.
It has a chance. It has a chance. It's like the second half. Come on. Come on, second half
really
turnaround.
It really did. Like the Roman injury angle, I kind of expected that.
Of course.
I think it's unnecessary at this point, but you still kind of saw the writing on the wall. It was like when Punk won, right, at SummerSlam. Get out of the ring, walk away.
Get out of the ring.
Walk away.
Get out of the ring.
Let's go.
They never listen.
No, they don't.
Like,
and then,
you think, if I was a world champion, it's just like, oh, we can do this backstage. It's fine. We're just going to run. I'd literally get the belt and start fucking running. I'd be like, see ya. See you backstage. Bye.
Seriously. But then
Elvis has left the building. You're right, I have.
To go from that to the Wyatt Six and Street Profits, it's like, whatever. Not gonna hate on it, but I wasn't a fan. And then to go to Nikki and Becky after that. But then, hey, like I said, Rusev, Sheamus brought it back, and ironically enough, before we move on, again, Cracker Barrel, if you're looking for a new logo, I just want to point that out. But the next match,
I need to comment on this because I just got a great idea with this gimmick.
Back. Hold on,
because we were talking about the well, you don't need to bring it back, but it's just like my comment of kind of like that would be my gimmick as a wrestler if I was a world champion and somebody had like the Money in the Bank contract, where literally it would just be like every time I do anything, it would be on like either if I was doing a promo, it would be on a remote location. Or if I had to wrestle contractually obligated, I would literally just somehow, I'd be like, I'd immediately roll out of the ring and have them hand me the title in the fucking aisleway and just start huffing it. I'd be like, yep, see you guys. That would be my whole gimmick, because it's just like, I'm going to completely avoid this motherfucker for the next, like, until the contract is up. Or he could get so frustrated he has to, he has to use it on the other guy.
Yeah, that is true.
That would be a brilliant gimmick though too.
No, it would be, absolutely.
For every single week that this guy is just like looming around, like he's just like, oh, on vacation. Yeah, I'm in Bermuda right now. I'm at my house, and it's just like, damn it.
Yep. But yeah, Logan Paul and John Cena.
Again,
didn't hate it.
I did not hate it at all. Again, as long as John Cena is not in the world title picture, I'm okay with this. Yeah. Especially too, it's just, that's a tough spot. And I've been very critical of Logan Paul. I would say I'm critical on him as a human being, which I think rightfully he deserves that. As a human being, he deserves all the criticism in the world. I keep trying to hope that this kid, I keep hoping that this kid is going to turn around and come out with some type of humility on certain things and not be a clown. And at times, I feel like maybe he's turned a corner. And then he does something stupid again, and I'm just like, ugh. But as a in-ring performer, and as somebody that is fearless, and also somebody that really didn't have to go to the PLE, he didn't have to go to the Performance Center for a year, 6 months. He kind of did it on his own time. He's a great athlete, so he's able to pull everything off physically. I mean, he's got one of the best frog splashes I've ever seen. That's saying something. I also feel like when he hits it correctly, he didn't do it in this match at all. But that buckshot lariat,
that's Sean's fault.
Yeah, it is.
Both times it was Sean's fault.
I felt like he was just too far away. And but he sometimes hits the buckshot lariat better than Hangman Page does. And again, I'm not hitting on Hangman. I like the Hangman this day. He's probably one of the major reasons of AEW's being successful right now. I don't know where the fuck they would be without him. Him and Tony Storm. And that's the truth. But the fact is that this, either guy could have really won. But at the same time, it should have been Logan because of the fact that, again, I have to remind everybody, John Cena is not going to be around in 6 months. In December, that's it. Exactly. Me and you are finally going to be able to get a decent night's sleep for the first time in 20 fucking years.
Seriously.
It's like we don't have to hear the goddamn trumpets anymore.
Do, 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 do.
And the thought of him, am I going to watch his retirement? Of course. Is it going to be a memorable thing? Of course. Am I going to shed a tear? No.
That's how I feel about that.
Exactly. It's going to be like, oh, thank God. It's going to be literally getting a teeth pulled out and then you're just rubbing. Yeah, but because you had so much pain in that tooth for years. Yeah. So then finally one day you just say, forget it. And just you get the tooth out and you feel instant relief. And that's the way I look at this show. That is the way I look, well, not the show, but the John Cena kind of run that has been going on recently. And people need to kind of... Have you seen these Verizon ads with Lindsay Lohan?
My father, when I was in Massachusetts last week, was like, who is that? I'm like, pretty sure it's Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah.
And he's like, really?
Because I'm just looking at it. I'm just like, oh, hello, darkness, my old friend. Because, good Lord.
Glad she got off the drugs. That's all.
I'm glad she's healthy. I am so glad she's healthy, and now she's married, she has kids, and that's a great success story. That is a really great success story that, that can go on a really great story for also someone that needed, has certain issues that they've had to conquer in their life. But coming from someone that, 20 years ago when Mean Girls was a thing, and I saw her because of the freckles, and I saw her because of the hair. I'm just thinking to myself, that's fucking wife material. Like, if I brought her home to my mother, she would just be like, my God. But mostly because it's Irish. But mostly because of that. But then within a 3-year period, I think if I brought that home, my mother would be like, what? But there was a brief moment in time. What the fuck is that? Where she was at that top of the list as far as marriage material, as far as celebrities was concerned, and how that died off very quickly. That was one of those deaths of literally you're at the top of the draft, and then literally it's like within weeks you just tumble to the very bottom.
I don't know. She always seemed like future ex-wife material to me.
Well, yeah, that was the thing. It's like when I say wife material, I mean, we're probably
future ex-wife.
You're going to be, yeah, exactly. It's probably not going to last. I know it's not going to last because you're going to come to your senses. But here's Steph listening to this. So am I going to come to my senses? No, honey, you're not, because you're in this little long haul like I am, and you somehow find my blatant pessimistic attitude, my constant annoyance with everything on the public, and also too that any time that I hear certain phrases and all of a sudden I'm just making like a certain reference and she's just like, somehow she puts up with it.
Vast amount of marijuana.
Yeah, exactly. That helps too. I feel like that could help in any struggling relationship sometimes. I'm just like, add a little marijuana into it. Maybe it'll be fine.
Because I'm not booked.
It makes the relationship stronger. Got a conversation with an ex, and she's like, "Oh, I'm smoking pot now." I'm like, "God, if only you did that when we were together." We all had a laugh. But we look at, but Lindsay Lohan, how that stock of just, it was a very kind of weird stock kind of drop. And there was some future ex-wife material that, you look at like Trish Stratus, where she's been consistent for 25 years. Lita, another one, consistent material, 25 years. And there's a few others too that probably are going to in that category. Other celebrities I can think of, but I'm just trying to maintain that into the wrestling lexicon and the wrestling world. Another big word there, lexicon, which I think Jericho may have used it. So wrestling fans are probably just like, ha! Didn't Jericho use that once? Yeah, Jericho's going to be on the show next week. Yeah, I'm leaning to that, right? Yeah, he's not going to be on AEW next week, but he's going to be on our show. Of course, if Jericho wanted to be on the show, I'd be like, all right. Yes. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Jesus. Me and you the whole time would just be side-eyeing each other. Yeah. Yeah. Fozzy. Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, so you're going back? Oh, that's good. Gonna skip next year then. Yeah. What? I didn't say that. No. Lee Majors said that.
Cornbread, damn it, cornbread.
Anyway.
Yes. So
this match wasn't awful though.
No, it wasn't. It was good.
Styles Clash, zigzag. A lot of moves here, man.
That was a great zigzag too. Like, that really was a really great zigzag. And then that
really was
not the best one I've seen, because that one he did against Del Rio when he cashed in, that was probably the best one, because he knew it was happening. So he just was like, I'm jumping out of the fucking ceiling on this one. But that was a damn good zigzag. And then when Cena pulled out the Styles Clash, I almost shit myself, because I'm like, you got to be kidding. Like, now you're going to pull this out? If he only did that like 2006 or 7, I probably would have liked him more.
Right. Right.
If he did that like 2006, 2007, I would have popped for it. But like, but also he would have been called like a piece of shit, because it's like, oh, you ripped somebody's move off. Who gives a shit? Like, he's not blatant. He's not. That's the thing.
Yeah, but when AJ was there, I don't think it would have been a big deal. And obviously he still is, but still. But like in 06, 07, before he came over, I think it would have been a dick for it.
Yeah, but yeah.
But also, I hated him in 06 and 07 far more than I do now.
We might have liked him more had he started doing it, though. We might have been like,
probably not. Probably not. Probably not.
I still would have been like, fuck this guy. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's true. There's really not much. But, it's like, again, I didn't hate this match. I thought it was one of the better matches of the night. And again, I'm not going to hate the next few months with the Cena thing, because I'm interested where it's going to go. I'm interested in some of the matches he's going to get. I hope he gets mauled by a tiger named Brock Lesnar in a few months. That'll be cool, or a few weeks for that matter, because who knows what's going to happen. And even though I feel like they're stacking the deck to like unbelievable heights for WrestlePalooza, so
I mean, we'll see.
Which brings us
I don't want to
to
talk
our
about this piece of shit, man.
event. LA Knight, Jey Uso, CM Punk, and the visionary Seth Rollins in a fatal four-way for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Listen. Right up until the end, I like this match.
It's a good match.
But the ending just shit all over itself. And it killed the match.
Like I said, and we alluded to earlier, Becky Lynch was involved in the worst match of the night, and she can also make the argument that she was involved in one of the worst pay-per-view finishes in the Triple H era. I would put this up even in the worst finishes in the company in the last 5 years, maybe even longer. Just because of the fact of...
It's tied with WrestleMania, I feel like, this year.
Yeah, you're right. It's right up there. You could say, I feel like the finish to Mania was probably worse, considering the fact that it was WrestleMania and this was just
in Paris, yeah,
a throwaway show in Paris. Especially too of just the implication. It's the third time I've used this fucking word. Jesus, what am I, Dennis Reynolds? Where it's like this is the third time that this has been this year where it's just been like, what the fuck? This is the third time this year where I'm just looking at his finish of a show and I'm like, because I didn't like night one either. I didn't like night one of Seth Rollins becoming
I didn't hate it because of the great storytelling. I'll say it that way. I didn't like the finish per se, but I thought the match itself told a great story.
Yes, it's true. But again, the finish we didn't like. Where this one, again, the match was good, but the finish we didn't like. So almost the same common denominator. It's funny now with Seth Rollins being involved with the World Championship and almost every main event that he has been in, except for the Brock Lesnar one, and a few, and every main event that he has had, other than like Brock Lesnar and some of the big guys that he's worked with, it seems to be always a controversy. And again, it happens with him in the main event with a championship match where it's a finish no one liked. You can go back to Hell in a Cell in 2019. You can go back to the last time that they decided they were going to put Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins together on the same team, which they did 6 years ago. I get it. They love each other. I get it. I get it. You see the world in Seth Rollins.
Listen, here's what I'm gonna say. Right, if your big ooh-ah moment is because they teased it, like you said earlier, they were teasing this huge moment at the end of the show. If this was it, this was dog shit. And the crowd was very clearly chanting for the last couple of shows that Becky has been on, AJ Lee. Mm-hmm. And they continue to tease it because after Monday, because she slapped the shit out of CM Punk, who did nothing, mm-hmm. Punk then asked, hey, where's SmackDown this week? And it's in Chicago.
Yep.
Where do AJ and CM Punk live? Chicago. And as Dan, you kind of mentioned the pre-show, and I think you might have mentioned it here as well, WWE Shop kind of spoiled the fun a little bit too by tweeting out something and having heavy speculation. And listen, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with the returning AJ Lee. I'm okay with a feud between CM Punk and AJ Lee and against Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. But I don't really need it. I'm okay with AJ Lee coming back, period. I just don't think it needs to be part of this.
It doesn't. It does not need to be. If you needed to do, I mean, I get they're probably thinking, well, we'll put her in a tag team match because she hasn't wrestled in a decade. So that way it'll take some of the heat off her for coming back, which I get it. I understand. I understand your reasoning. But nonetheless, I still hate the finish. I still hate
the finish is dog shit. I mean, let's be real.
Still hate the fact. I still hate this current iteration of Seth Rollins. I hate the people that are involved. I hate the fact now that he brought Becky Lynch in when it didn't work 6 years ago. It's not going to work now. But now it's going to work because you are literally hedging your bets on someone that hasn't wrestled in 10 years.
I don't know if I would say it's hedging my bets, though. This goes back to like Edge and Beth Phoenix against Miz and Maurice. Like, it's unnecessary. You don't need to include spouses in a feud. You just don't. Miz and Edge can fight if they want to fight. You know, Maurice was already retired at that point. So was Beth pretty much, really. They both pretty much were. Bringing him back really didn't do anything. I understand that there is a segment of the audience that might want AJ Lee to come back, and there's a variety of women that might want to face her. I know Roxanne Perez has expressed interest because of her fandom of AJ Lee. I just don't really think it's necessary, though. And that's part of the problem. Like, you have a wealth of young talent that you could bring in instead to help CM Punk. It doesn't necessarily need to be AJ Lee. And I don't know what benefit AJ Lee is going to bring a much younger female locker room.
The problem that people need to look at here, and I know that there's probably going to get some hate for this, but this is exactly how I feel, and this is also the how I felt back in 2015 when she left. Do I feel like that she was a positive influence as far as kind of leading towards the next generation of talent? Yes, I do. I feel like her and Paige especially were kind of like the new kind of they were the new breed of talented workers that wanted to also do pretty good character work. And she did great character work. I'm not going to say that she didn't. And she's also one of the better in-ring performers I could see back then. That the problem was that she was full of a roster of women who really didn't know the difference between a wristwatch and a wrist lock. And also, secondly, they got 3 and 4 minute segments. That was pretty much a women's match on WWE television 10 or 15 years ago. She tried to change that. She doesn't get as much credit as she should because, of course, at the time,
still was working with models.
She was working with models, but also, she got married to somebody that was considered public enemy number 1 in the company. But now, everybody's happy again.
Hold on a second. I just want to say this real quick. I give her credit for sticking out as long as she did after he left.
Yeah, I do.
She could have left immediately. She tried to stick it out, and she did for a little bit, and I have to give her that credit. I think at some point that switched to, I'm just going to be loyal to my husband, which...
You fired him on our wedding day.
Yeah.
That's tough to kind of get over,
Yeah.
It's, now you can get over it because You weren't in charge then.
Well, that and show me the money,
But you show up to his house with a suitcase full of cash. It's like, yeah, I guess I'll come back. All right. And which I guess they have done again, which I wonder if Nick Khan was behind this or if Phil was behind this. It's just, because all
probably
sides
a little
are pointing,
bit of both. It's probably a little bit of both.
I'm sure it's a little bit of both. My issue with this is, and I understand the timing of it, with the fact that it's against All In, which, to Tony's credit, he announced this week that they are going to be an afternoon show. They're going to be starting earlier in the day, I believe at 3:00, to not have to compete with WrestlePalooza, which I fully expect now the pay-per-view is going to go from like 3 to 9. He's going to try to take him in the first hour. But
depending on the matches, which we only really know is the one right now with Io and Stephanie Vicaire. I can imagine that show's going to be pretty stacked. So I don't know if I would take them to the first hour. Honestly, I think that's risky.
No, they're to their credit, they also announced this week that they are going to be going to HBO Max for their pay-per-views now at the reduced rate of $40 a month.
All you're doing is passing the buck.
It's like, all you're doing. If you remember, it's like Tony. WWE
listen,
it gives PLEs, UFC just sold their stuff.
It gives
this
them,
doesn't work anymore.
It gives Warner Brothers the rights, though, is the thing, and I think that's big for them. Is they need more money on their platforms, anyways. So let's take it back off of
that's fair.
Amazon and let's do it ourselves, and we could reduce the rates, and we'll just give AEW the money. And don't they own a portion of it as well? From what I remember,
that's been the rumor. I don't know if that's a fact or not.
I don't either. Yeah.
Well, the thing is that when you're network, you still want to have kind of a say. And Tony really doesn't like to listen to people.
No, you don't say.
I will say that I think the network told him you're gonna eulogize Hulk Hogan. He was on this network for Nitro and for Saturday Night.
Could be.
You're going to eulogize. I don't think he would have done it because they remained extremely quiet. I remember that day, and that couple days later, there was no mention by them on social media. They didn't even acknowledge it, and they've acknowledged some. They didn't even acknowledge Bray Wyatt when that happened.
Yep.
But they did not acknowledge it for Hulk Hogan. But now, all of a sudden, it's like Collision. They come, they have Tony Schiavone come out there and talk about it, and so it's like, okay. But to me, the way that it was worded, it sounded like it was written by Warner, somebody in Warner's camp, and they pretty much just told him, you need to say this. I know you don't want to, but you need to. And, because Tony hasn't made any mention of it. They never mentioned anything on social media, like a post or anything like that. It's just, it's there, but it's not like they acknowledge it. So that's been, so to speak, that's my signal in saying the only time I've seen them get involved, and they probably also got involved of, can you not have the guy with a pizza cutter when the Domino's ad is playing? They probably didn't like that.
Oh man.
But yeah, it's yeah. I don't know, man. We're coming into this weekend with the weekend of the 20th, of course. I'm not talking about this weekend. we're coming into that weekend, and it's just like we have no idea what All Out looks like, even from a couple weeks out. And we have rumor and innuendo about the WrestlePalooza. So the question is,
I can look it up right now and see what we can find, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like WrestlePalooza is only going to be that one match. I feel like there was something else.
Well, I heard it says Brock Cena.
It says John Cena versus TBA. It's probably going to be Brock, yeah.
Because Brock is
they've teased that for
rumored
SmackDown.
To be in Chicago for the SmackDown, which AJ Lee, I'm assuming tomorrow night is probably going to be. Which that's going to be. Do you just do a dry where she comes out with the music? To CM Punk introduce her like this? Is it going to be like it was 4 years ago on the episode of Rampage where it's like, do you just cue music up at the top of the hour at 8 o'clock? Do you just get it out of the way now? Because are you going to have to deal with the AJ Lee chants all night? Because pretty much he pretty much told you at the end of Monday, oh, we're going to be in Chicago? Okay. So I fully expect tomorrow that AJ Lee is going to be announced and will be performing at WrestlePalooza, which, again, I mean, I can sit here and say, this was not on my bingo card for this year.
No.
It really wasn't.
No.
This was not, and there's been a lot of times in the last couple of years I've said, well, this was not on my bingo card. And this is one of them. This is another one of them where I just was like, really?
What the hell?
What?
So I looked out All Out as well, because we're going to have to talk about that too, obviously, when the time comes. Yes. There are 3 matches announced so far. Mercedes is apparently facing Riho for the TBS Championship. Which,
oh, yes, Riho returned last night.
Yep, she returned last night. Apparently with a new look, I'll say it that way.
Booran, yeah,
Booran.
That's what I've been told.
Booran.
Yep, he did tell us that. This one we kind of knew about, but we probably just kind of forgot about it a little bit. But Edge and Christian, or Cope and Christian Cage, against FTR, Cash, and Dax, which that was announced a couple weeks ago, I believe. I think it was like the week after All In it was actually announced, if I remember correctly. So yeah, there's that. And then apparently there's a trios match. Ricochet and the Gates of Agony against the Hurt Syndicate. But what it says here is the Hurt Syndicate is Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, and MVP?
You mean to tell me that they're having a trios match on an AEW pay-per-view? Holy crap, I didn't expect that.
MVP, though? That's a little odd.
That is odd to me.
So I don't know if maybe it's just, I don't know, it's just weird. Let me see if I can read anything about this. But yeah, so far, those are the 3 matches that have been announced for All Out.
I wish it was just Shaw's Popcorn.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. But yeah, that was Clash in Paris. That's the AEW news. And apparently today, since we'll talk about it very quickly, because why not? Apparently Ronda Rousey didn't like working with Alexa Bliss, and she didn't understand why it was Alexa, and she was told at the time that it was because, and this is what Ronda Rousey said, and I believe it, because Alexa had the biggest merch sales at the time.
I did
welcome to business, Ronda.
I did like MJF's response to it.
I might as well have just said water is wet. As soon as I read it myself before I had
fucking Mark. That's pretty much what I said. I'm like, you fucking Mark.
It was a scenario where it's like, are you serious, Rhonda? Like, really?
It's the same tone deaf bullshit she said a couple years ago when she said that I was supposed to face Lacey. Lacey Evans was supposed to win the Money in the Bank, and then Vince changed it the day of into Liv Morgan. And we look at Liv Morgan now, and we look at Lacey Evans, and it's like, well, yeah, I guess Vince was still with it that night, like because he saw something in Liv 3 years ago that everybody needed another year or two to kind of get caught up with.
So here's what I'm going to say, right? Just really quickly about Lacey Evans. They needed to turn her into the Marine character. I 100% agree with that. I don't think it needed to be a Sergeant Slaughter character. It could have, but she didn't need the hat. I can tell you that for sure. That was stupid.
I like the Southern Belle character, though, too.
I didn't hate it, but just looking at character evolution, I
understand.
Yeah. And having a female, veteran, basically, I'll say it that way, soldier, whatever. I think it's impactful. They've never really had that, and they could not get it right. They just could not. But my real comment here is the fact that had they introduced the mid-card women's titles that they have now, you could have easily given one to Lacey Evans, I feel like. I feel like that would have suited her well. Not trying to give her the Money in the Bank, which, again, as you said, Vince was still with it, apparently, because that was the right call.
It was, as much as to the chagrin of Ronda Rousey. And I like the Laps fan, by the way, which when I heard she was doing the Laps fan, by the way, if you're a wrestling history buff like myself, go listen to those guys because they do entire breakdowns of companies and storylines. They did one of the entire legacy of World Clash Championship Wrestling, which I've spent hours on. The same thing they did the entire steroid trial, the Ring Boys. Yeah. They are some of the two best knowledgeable podcasts as far as wrestling is concerned you could find on the planet. So them being able to get Ronda Rousey, I was really happy for them. And then I was hearing some of the things that got trickled out, and I was just like, it's so hard because I want to be able to give Ronda Rousey her flowers and the aspect of if it wasn't for her, the women's wrestling revolution, I don't think would have really hit the mainstream like it has. She did bring them to a much bigger light. However, she's the biggest fucking mark. One of the biggest marks I've ever seen in this industry, in the sense of it's just like, well, I didn't want to work with her. It's like, yeah, but she's the biggest fucking selling goddamn merch person we have.
I don't want to just say she's a mark. I think the problem is she's a mark for herself more than anything else.
That's the problem. When I say she's a mark, I mean she's a mark for herself in the sense of everything that I heard her say. It's just like, well, that's not real. Like how it would really go is like, and then she wasn't going to let Becky Lynch beat her with the arm bar because her mother would have disowned her. It's like, she was also taught by somebody in judo, Gene LaBelle, that ran his own fucking company in Los Angeles. He ran his own territory. Also trained Bruce Lee, also trained Roddy Piper. I mean, I guess Roddy also taught you not how to do a fucking job. I mean, I guess we could go with that. You wanted to work with your friends, Marina Shafir and, Shayna Baszler. Can't remember the fourth one for the life of me.
Laser. Glazer.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that should have been actually their names.
I know. That's actually why I said it, because I thought the botch was funny, but might as well make a dodgeball reference in there too,
Because it's just, I'm looking at this. I like Ronda. At one point, I was like, God, I'm glad she's here. And I still kind of like Ronda. But
I just want her to stop talking.
Shut up.
I know that sounds stupid, but it is the truth. Like, unless you're wrestling or doing MMA or whatever the heck it is you are going to end up doing, please just keep your opinions to yourself. Otherwise,
Yeah,
I just don't want to hear them.
Podcasts. Just don't do podcasts. I think she's, she has a very interesting story to tell.
She was a
pioneer in combat sports. She was a pioneer in the wrestling industry with being able to get women wrestling into the forefront. If it wasn't for her and her name value and her star power, they'd be looking at a completely different light. Yes, she should have been involved in the main event at WrestleMania. Yes, she was very important to WrestleMania that year with Becky Lynch's evolution. The same thing with Charlotte as well. But I hate to say this to you, Rhonda. You really didn't win anything. You were given the title. And I know in your mind it's like, well, I'm supposed to. No, you're not supposed to anything. This is the wrestling business. This isn't MMA. This isn't combat sports.
Well, I remember the comment she made about the fans too, and I'm just like, really, Rhonda, you just don't frickin' get it. You just don't. The fans are booing me and boo the fans. Like Rhonda, you ever been to an event like this where people are gonna boo certain things, or gonna cheer certain things? It's the same with other sports. They boo the teams they don't like. They cheer the teams they do like.
She dealt with worse fans at UFC press conferences than what she dealt with in the WWE.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest thing that she needed to know when she came into this industry of like, it's a work, it's a work, it's a work, it's a work. But she didn't do that. Like that's why I think the run kind of was hard for her and also for the company, because she probably always, I love Roddy Piper, but Roddy Piper in the wrestling business at certain points, he wasn't exactly the best. And he didn't want to do a clean job ever. That I feel like was cost him the championship. In fact, it's been theorized that had Vince could have trusted him in doing a clean job, he would have given them the title. But Vince didn't trust him because he didn't want to do a clean job. He even admitted in his book. He's like, around 1984, he's like, I'm not going to have anybody beat me. And I'm wondering if that's what Ronda was thinking. And that's, because Piper was her idol. And I get all that. I understand that. But you're not an MMA anymore.
That's the thing. And that's why I don't like making the distinction with Piper sometimes. Because, and I understand why you do. Like, okay, I'm not going to lose. But I think in her mind, it was, I'm not going to do a clean finish because none of them can beat me believably.
Yes, no, it's exactly it. It's exactly it.
Like in a normal like MMA match, I will rip you apart. Yes. I will destroy you. But
she don't want to face Alexa because she'd be like, Alexa's some valley girl. And it's like,
listen, like I understand it. Like Alexa gives up a lot of height and a lot of weight to a lot of people. And I 100% get it, but she knows how to put on an act and to make it believable.
Especially, too, there's the rumors that Ronda was one of the culprits of a concussion.
I did hear
Alexa.
That, too, yeah.
The footage is out there. The rumors have been out there that may...
It's been very reported that Ronda took liberties, we'll say it that way.
I think Nia Jax stood up for... took issue with it. There were several talents that took issue with it. Also for Nia Jax to get mad at you for hurting somebody, it's like, hey.
Yeah, yeah, there is that.
Even though Nia's turned a corner,
no, absolutely,
completely. And it's sad because it's like I want Ronda to have a good, like, be remembered fondly in the wrestling industry, because it's like you did a lot of good things for this business. You should be remembered fondly, but you won't be. And it's because she just just accept it. Just accept the money, accept the fact that, like, be gracious about it. Don't be like this brat that you have a tendency to be. I was going to say bitchy or anything like that because I consider it more bratty behavior than I would say bitchy behavior. It's the same thing she did in MMA, but tearing down wrestling fans in a that frat boy environment. We've just gone back and forth so many times on MMA fans and things of that nature of like, oh, they're the worst of society sometimes. And I understand wrestling fans can be too. Don't get me wrong. But I feel like MMA people are just 1,000 times worse, usually because there's more testosterone and beer involved in that situation.
Listen, man, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Not now, Chief. I'm in the fucking zone.
Yeah, seriously. It's tough. I get it, especially for her avenue of not really grown up a wrestling fan, I feel like, and not being
I think she did
business.
Actually. She was a fan. She was a fan, and that's why she kind of wanted to get into it. I think
I'm saying like some of these smart mark kind of fans. Right. And I think that is to her disadvantage, and I think that she saw it as I'm going to wrestle versus I'm going to perform. And I think that plays a certain role into this aspect of her mentality going in. She sees it as a competition, which, okay, yeah, but you're playing a competition on television. You're not actively in a competition. Just saying.
It's work.
It's a work, exactly.
Well, I feel like we have covered the tables, and I think this week we're not only going to be on Spotify and Apple, but we'll probably be on Facebook, considering we were doing a review of the PLE of Abomination in Paris. Ugh.
Trash in Paris.
Oh God, it was so bad. Douche in Paris. Like a douche in Paris. It could have been douche in Paris too.
Douche in Paris.
Douche in Paris. Oh. Mac, do you have anything we could close out with? Do we have anything else that we wanted to discuss?
I don't think we ran the circles tonight.
Other than fuck Matt Riddle, I guess we could close with that. I don't want to see. We don't need to talk about it in depth.
I don't. No, I don't think we should. I don't even really want to either. So basically, all he said is that he heard AJ Lee got around. Which, why?
Okay,
just why? Like it goes back to the whole Ronda Rousey thing, dude. It's like just stop talking, please. Stop going.
It's obvious he has an issue with CM Punk.
I mean,
it's obvious.
I mean, dude, just get well.
Yeah,
that's all I can say for Riddle. Just get well.
Just get well.
Mentally and physically, just get well.
Yes. Don't be a dick. How about that?
Don't be a dick. Yeah. There you go.
It's another thing you should do. Stop being a dick.
Yeah!
But I don't think I have anything else more to say. Who knows? I think next week, however,
we'll have a lot more to talk about next week.
Well, what is next week?
Next week? Oh yeah, wait, no. Is it?
No.
Oh yeah, it's 2 weeks because it's on the 20th. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So I think
God.
I think next week we might do an episode of The Scroll. I'm gonna see if we can get a writer on here.
I'm sure
we
haven't
done that in a while. Yeah, no. I'm sure we will. But I think we'll do The Scroll, and I'm sure we'll talk about AJ Lee if something happens, but on Friday or Monday. Or Tuesday, because there is NXT. Who knows? Maybe we could talk about more ratings problems for AEW. Who knows?
I mean, if it's under 200K again on Collision, we might have to talk about that too.
We might. It's like, how low can it go?
Yeah.
That was a good field goal, though. Oh,
no, that was good.
Decent. Yeah. 24-20 as we in the third quarter as we close out the night here on PWW Talks. You can listen to us on Apple. You can listen to us on Spotify and of course YouTube under Diamond Podcasting Productions. And for this week, we are on Facebook under Pro Wrestling, the Pro Wrestling World. Gotta love the copycat sometimes. But thank you everybody for listening, and we will see you all again next week. Bye-bye.